Ooh, it's a party. Chick-fil-A and beer. Hey gems, welcome back to my channel. Okay, here. Welcome back to my channel. What's my name? Y'all know. My name is Imani and I am your local expert on nothing. Say no. Hey gems, welcome back to my channel. So today we're gonna have a little chat, the basics on how I picked a wife and decided on a doula. Let's get started. So a little backstory is I was originally living in Jersey once I found out I was pregnant, but I decided to move to Florida before I actually gave birth. So my midwife doula search started in Jersey, so I will tell you how that happened, and then I will tell you how the doula midwife search happened once Florida had the transition to Florida happened. Okay, so first off, when I was in Jersey, I knew I wanted a home birth, and from my research, having a home birth was damn near impossible. Insurance does not cover midwife, so I have to pay for a midwife out of pocket. The home that I was living in, I'm like, I don't even want to give birth in this house, but I knew I wanted a home birth. Then I was like, okay, maybe a birthing center. Those were like super far from me. Every midwife that I found was just, it was a lot. So I'm gonna just tell you how that happened. First, you have to make the decision that you want a midwife or you want a doula. You have to make the decision on the kind of birth that you want to have. So I made my decision. I wanted a home water birth. My camera decided to turn off, but where was I? Making the decision that you want a home, you want a midwife or slash doula. So I didn't want to deliver, I didn't want a OBGYN. I didn't technically want to deliver in a hospital, but again, we make our plans and these babies determine our steps. So I made the decision that I wanted a midwife. So now I started my search back in Jersey, Googling midwives in the area. So every single midwife that I called, either A, didn't travel to where I was, or B, cost about $6,000 to $7,000. Yeah, that was it. So it was starting to be a little sad and frustrating, like $6,000, and like I know the benefits of having a baby in the comfort of your own home. You are familiar with the area, you're familiar with your surroundings, you feel more safe, more comfortable. I've worked at a hospital. I know how hospitals are. Everything's money, 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 money. So I knew that and I wanted to avoid that. So it was getting a little sad, a little frustrating, but I continued the search. So from midwives, I started looking into birthing centers. They were too far. So birthing centers went straight out the window. Now, I did the same thing with finding a doula. Now with a doula, if for those of you who don't know, a doula is kind of like your support system, your advocate while you're in labor, because you know, you're concentrating mainly on bringing a human into this world. You don't technically have time to think of all the little small details. So prior to birth, you tell your doula what you would like, what you don't like, and they take care of those small details and support you and give you, like, say during birth, they're like, they massage you in the right places. They're your birthing coach, you know, they help you alongside the midwife. So I did the same thing with my doula. I Googled, looked around, I stalked her for like ever. I stalked, I looked up prices, everything. So I found a doula and then I told her my situation and I'm like, I might end up moving. Now, once I'd made the decision that I was moving to Florida, this is when the search started all over again. But this time it was a bit more successful. It was a bit more, I was happier, because in the state of Florida, midwives are covered by your insurance. In the state of Florida, home births are accepted. Home births are a thing, whereas Jersey, it's like the anomaly or something, like it never happens, you know? Once I found that out from my research, that home births are, it's a thing that happens all the time everywhere, this is when the search really started. So first is Google every single area, like the area that I was gonna live in. I googled midwives. I made a list of every single midwife that I saw in that area and their phone numbers. After making the list, I would call each them, ask them do they take insurance, what kind of insurance they take, because I had to of course get Florida insurance, so I was just making sure how this would have worked, what kind of insurance they take, their fees, and what they offer. And in that search, I also told them like if they know any good doulas, because I am a firm believer of word of mouth. Like each person I called, I basically had a little interview with them actually. So that would be tip number whatever I'm on. So I had like a little interview. I'd ask them how did they get started, what makes them want to be a doula, how many kids they have, what made them want to be a midwife, what are their fees, what do they offer during the birthing process, what does a normal birthing process looks like for them. I had questions out the wahoo, because you're interviewing them. This is like a job that you're gonna offer them, you know, so you want to make sure the person is someone you'd want working for you. Make sense? Once I did my little interview, you kind of have to make a decision. So for my Florida situation, it kind of really went so smoothly. The first birthing center that I tried to call, no one ever answered. I found another one. They were too far from the area that I was living. I got this one lady, her name is Sharon. I will leave her information down below, but she doesn't cover insurance. She doesn't take insurance. She's straight out of pocket. But from the way she was talking during our interview, I'm like, you could just take my money. As broke as I am right now, you could just have it. I was really willing to just think of finding a way to make her my doula, my midwife, I'm sorry, to make her my midwife, because she was so good. Once we discovered that, oh, it may be a little bit out of my price range, so she suggested one of her friends, word of mouth. So now I called that person, and I will also leave her information. Her name is Brooke. She has her her office is a bus. It's like the midwife bus. It's like the cutest little thing ever. So I talked to her. I interviewed her over the phone, of course. This is before I even came to Florida. I did all of this because I need to plan my life. So I interviewed her, and what am I saying? Oh, I interviewed her, asked all these questions. Shannon, the first lady, she also told me about a doula. So I called the doula, asked the questions, I got all the information, and the doula also offered photography, so I'll also leave her info. She's a photographer and doula, and they offer those kind of services. So they ended up being my team, and they all knew each other. So yeah, to recap, how do you pick a midwife slash doula? Google is your best friend. Make a list. Call the people off the list. Ask questions. Ask about insurance, fees. Once you get all that information, narrow it down and like reevaluate. Of course, don't forget to take notes throughout this whole thing so you can know what you like and didn't like about a certain person over the phone. Yeah, so I ended up, that was how I ended up picking my doula and my midwife, who ended up being it was very interesting. But I will tell you about the birth story later on. So yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment below, let your girl know how you feel, and I will see you next time. Bye, gems.